a splendid day. Empaths can typically be categorized into 4 groups: normal, codependent, super, and contagion. It's quite uncommon for individuals to neatly fit into just one group. More often than not, they exhibit characteristics from multiple groups, or even aspects of all 4. Interestingly, I frequently encounter individuals who adamantly declare themselves as super empaths. While this may sometimes hold true, the Empath Detector Test serves as a reliable gauge to ascertain the accuracy of such claims. While some may indeed possess super empathic traits, many assertions stem from misconceptions, a desire for validation, or an attempt to inflate one's importance or abilities. This inclination towards self-validation doesn't necessarily indicate narcissism. Rather, it reflects the empowerment gained from overcoming the toxic behavior of a narcissist. After liberating themselves from such individuals, an admirable feat in itself, they may perceive themselves as super empaths. It's essential to recognize that this achievement is within the reach of any empath, irrespective of their specific traits. However, super empaths are more inclined to achieve this feat effortlessly. It's intriguing to note that mid-range narcissists often claim to be superior empaths, reflecting their inflated self-perception. In their narrative, the super empath emerges as a heroic figure, bravely vanquishing the narcissist against all odds. This narrative paints the super empath as a triumphant warrior, toppling the narcissist while they lament their defeat. Mid-range narcissists often tout the idea that confronting a narcissist head-on is the ultimate strategy for defeating them, oblivious to its counterproductive nature. What they fail to grasp is that such a tactic only serves to fuel the narcissist's ego and exacerbate the empath's emotional turmoil, putting them at greater risk of harm. The dynamics between empaths and narcissists are intricate and multifaceted. An empath who employs rationality and maintains composure understands that engaging in direct conflict with a narcissist is seldom fruitful. However, this realization clashes with the self-image of the mid-range narcissist, who prefers to perceive themselves as valiant warriors rather than shy, feeble individuals. Super empaths, although relatively rare compared to other empath groups, possess a unique insight that allows them to detect disturbances earlier than their counterparts. However, it's crucial to dispel the misconception that super empaths obliterate narcissists with their abilities. Instead, they confront the narcissistic ego without the intent to vanquish or intimidate. The narcissist's reaction stems not from fear of the super empath, but from the perceived threat to their control, prompting defensive behavior. Super empaths harness their heightened sensitivity as a shield for self-preservation, avoiding rudeness even when faced with narcissistic put-downs. Initially, they may react similarly to the narcissist, driven by elevated emotional responses. While they may not immediately recognize the narcissist, they possess an innate ability to discern toxic behavior sooner than their empathic counterparts, asserting boundaries to prevent repetitive mistreatment. Their resistance isn't aimed at dismantling the narcissist's ego, but rather safeguarding their own well-being, akin to Gandalf's iconic stance in The Lord of the Rings, declaring, "You shall not pass." Their role isn't to assail the ego, regardless of its size or stature, but rather to fortify their defenses, establish limits, and prioritize their mental health. Super empaths epitomize a unique amalgamation of traits, with robust empathic qualities overshadowing their egotistical inclinations. When confronted with narcissistic abuse, the narcissist's pride and contentiousness become glaring, contrasting with the emergence of the empath's sense of equity and compassion, prompting them to assert their perspective and righteousness. However, Even super empaths may succumb to emotional reasoning at times, persisting in arguments when disengagement would be more beneficial. Nonetheless, their resilience surpasses that of many other empaths, refusing to yield easily in the face of adversity. In the throes of narcissistic devaluation, it's crucial to understand that standing up to the narcissist doesn't necessarily entail losing composure or succumbing to emotional outbursts. Embracing the role of a super empath primarily revolves around demonstrating resilience and determination, advocating for one's own well-being, and recognizing when it's time to sever ties. While adept empaths may engage in battles with narcissists, their primary objective is self-preservation rather than inflicting harm upon the narcissist, aligning with the ethos of super empathic behavior. In moments of heightened emotions, the idea of retaliating against the narcissist might cross their minds, but super empaths are more inclined to distance themselves from the situation and enact self-protective measures, such as initiating a no-contact rule. They eschew engaging in vengeful pursuits, understanding that such endeavors are futile when approached with rationality and a positive self-view. Instead, they prioritize fortifying their defenses to shield themselves from further maltreatment, diligently striving to liberate themselves from the narcissist's figurative chains. Their aim isn't to inflict harm upon the ego, but rather to safeguard their own well-being and reclaim their autonomy. They prioritize self-preservation and personal growth, understanding that the most effective way to deal with a narcissist is not to engage in direct confrontation, but to completely distance themselves. The adept empath, possessing a resilient spirit, is better equipped to endure the narcissist's detrimental behavior during the devaluation phase. While this resilience may not dismantle the narcissist's ego, it can diminish their interest over time, particularly with lower-level narcissists who struggle to assert control over a formidable empath. Although super empaths may not have complete control over their responses to avoid providing the narcissist with further ammunition, they can certainly temper their reactions. By tempering their responses, they can potentially reduce the benefits the narcissist derives, rendering themselves a more challenging target for the narcissist's manipulation attempts. Given their innate empathy, all narcissists initially gravitate towards super empaths. However, certain types of narcissists are more adept at manipulating super empaths than others. Lower-level narcissists often find it challenging to control super empaths and may opt for different types of empaths instead. Their inherent selfishness drives them to carefully select individuals they believe they can dominate, albeit their preference for exerting control over super empaths. It's like they have a preference for codependent empaths over those who exude strength. These codependent empaths can better weather the storm of the narcissist's initial demanding behavior, especially when the devaluation phase kicks in. However, higher-tier narcissists, such as the great or ultra types, view this resistance as intriguing. They relish the challenge, seeing it as an opportunity to hone their manipulation skills. Conversely, mid-range and lesser narcissists are more inclined to retreat when faced with formidable resistance from a great empath. Sometimes, the narcissist may sense that the super empath has caught on to their game and adjusted their tactics accordingly. This realization might prompt the narcissist to consider ending the relationship. So, while a super empath doesn't intend to harm the narcissist, their strength and self-awareness may prompt the narcissist to contemplate ending the relationship, offering the super empath an exit from a toxic situation. Many believe only great empaths possess the power to dismantle a narcissist, but this isn't entirely accurate. The primary reason most empaths refrain from doing so is their emotional attachment to the narcissist. Those addicted to narcissists often possess traits that keep them entangled in a dysfunctional dynamic, such as a desire to heal and rehabilitate the narcissist, a quest for understanding the truth about the relationship, respect for the narcissist's flaws, and an innate sense of morality. These traits don't usually lead to the demise of the narcissist. However, in rare cases, any empath, regardless of their dominant trait, be it super, contagion, normal, or codependent, can dismantle the narcissistic facade. Some refer to this prospect as the poke revenge, or the assassin's revenge. Nevertheless, few empaths reach this point. Their inherent compassion for others often dissuades them from resorting to such drastic measures, especially when they can find a more peaceful resolution. Perhaps super empaths could progress to the stage of assassin's revenge and dismantle the key pillars more effortlessly. However, even they are more inclined towards the no-contact approach rather than resorting to drastic measures. As mentioned earlier, it's not solely super empaths who have the capability to achieve this. Any empath possesses the potential, but whether they will act upon it remains uncertain. Typically, empaths refrain from such actions, as attempting them prematurely could lead to failure due to lingering emotional turmoil. Regardless of whether it's a super empath or a codependent empath, seeking retribution akin to that of an assassin is unlikely. Trying to elicit a response from a narcissist while still grappling with emotional turmoil, especially in the initial stages of implementing the no-contact rule, is futile. Instead, the empath must adhere to strict no-contact guidelines for at least 6 months. This period is crucial for reducing emotional entanglement, allowing the empath to approach interactions with the narcissist in a rational and healthy manner. An empath might eventually dismantle the narcissistic structures and break free from the narcissist's influence if they can distance themselves from their emotions. Once an empath achieves emotional stability and ceases to dwell on thoughts of the narcissist, they may contemplate enacting what's referred to as the assassin's revenge, disrupting the narcissist's control mechanisms. However, this possibility hinges on several factors. Being an empath entails maintaining emotional composure and employing rational, strategic thinking akin to that of a sharpshooter when making decisions. The beauty of this approach lies in the fact that the ego likely won't immediately attribute these actions to the empath, given the passage of time. The narcissist may even interpret these actions as threats from external sources, leading to a sense of bewilderment and confusion. However, timing is crucial for this form of retaliation. If an empath seeks retribution right after distancing themselves from the narcissist, their emotional state will likely be heightened, increasing the likelihood of errors and diminishing the effectiveness of the revenge plan. Moreover, they might find themselves being drawn back into close proximity with the narcissist, forcing them to grapple with their emotions, a process that can be emotionally exhausting. Therefore, regardless of the empath's subtype, it's imperative to maintain distance for a minimum of 6 months. During this period, the empath's emotional turbulence subsides, allowing them to think and act with clarity. If after this time the empath desires to enact revenge on the aggressor, they have the option, although most choose not to. By this point, the emotional tempest has abated, and many empaths no longer harbor vindictive intentions. They find solace in their no-contact approach, seeing it as a serene and constructive means of retaliation. There's a common misconception that only super empaths possess the power to dismantle narcissists, but this notion is far from accurate. Such occurrences are rare. Most individuals fail to dismantle the narcissist's mechanisms of control and manipulation due to a lack of requisite skills or attempting it prematurely, while still grappling with intense emotions. However, Once they gain mastery over their emotional impulses, they typically lose interest in such endeavours. Yet, should an empath decide to undertake this formidable task after being estranged from the narcissist for 6 months, success is attainable for anyone, not solely super empaths. The codependent majority, the contagion majority, and the normal majority are among the various types of empaths capable of this feat. Given their inherent nature, the resilient empath is more inclined to induce disengagement than other empathic targets. Greetings to all. Welcome. It makes me happy that you return to listen consistently. In the following discourse, I shall enumerate the 10 most egregious actions that an empath can provoke in the typical destructive narcissist. However, before we delve into the salacious details, I would like to clarify that what you are about to discover is abusive and traumatic for those who are in a relationship with an emotional abuser. It is not for those who encounter terrifying individuals who have the potential to harm them or their family. This is for all individuals who are confronted with narcissists, those who are possessive, untrustworthy, and dependent on psychological and emotional turmoil. In the event of encountering a perilous or violent circumstance, seek immediate medical attention, police assistance, or the assistance of a medical professional. Never subject yourself or your loved ones to such perilous circumstances. We can now begin our task with this information at our disposal. Anticipate to discover the characteristics and behaviours that will cause your narcissist to leap from a brink. Therefore, as I explain and deconstruct everything you need to know, transcribe my words. However, pause. Before we move on to the next sneaky tactic, please subscribe and click the bell to receive weekly updates with additional life-improving tips. Avoid becoming entangled in their dispute. Narcissists require perplexity, intensity, drama, and a vulnerable individual to demonstrate how much they despise and feel remorseful about themselves. They frequently view their prey as emotional punching bags, and boy, do they pack a powerful impact. But what if you have no desire to fight back or converse with them? What would happen if your response to their verbal assaults, criticism, or projections was a vacant expression rather than an emotional one? They certainly will undoubtedly go insane. Their refuse is idling without a destination, and they have no one left to vent their resentment towards. Reducing your contact with them will result in you becoming a more difficult target. Fortunately, the narcissist will feel impotent because they have no ability to alter or control you. 2. Are indifferent to their concerns. Have you ever encountered an individual who seemed to be so preoccupied with their personal issues, rumours, and conflicts that you felt compelled to jolt them to return them to reality? Such is the lifestyle of a megalomaniac. Individuals who desire recognition, authority, and a position of influence employ a variety of strategies to alter your perception of them. However, what will occur if you behave as though you do not care? What if you demonstrated that their erroneous convictions do not influence your thoughts, emotions, or behaviour? Imagine their bewilderment upon discovering how insignificant you consider them to be. Consider the anguish that would ensue if an individual were incapable of exerting control over you or altering your disposition. They go insane when you are occupied with living your life, accomplishing goals, experiencing joy, and attending to personal matters. They have lost all control over you. Demonstrate your lack of concern for their challenges, their potential impact on you, and any other notions they may attempt to convince you of. 3. Tell them to everyone. Narcissists possess exceptional skill in employing manipulation as a means to deceive others, glamorize themselves, and conceal their lack of proficiency in various domains. However, what would occur if they were placed on the location in the presence of others? What then would happen if you informed their peers of their deceit, exaggeration, or lack of proficiency. Consider the apprehension that will fill their eyes when you pose a direct inquiry that compels them to reveal their true selves. Consider how offended they will be if you call attention to their deficiencies or errors in a public setting. You eliminate their ability to exert control over you and expose them to their true nature. They will no longer be capable of deceiving you or anyone else, as their true nature will be visible to all. Therefore, demonstrate whom they truly are in public, confront them, and make it clear that you will not tolerate their deceit and ruses. 4. Convince them that their narrative and emotions are authentic. What would happen if you ceased to believe their deceit and exposed them for what they truly are? What if you rejected their tragic narrative and refused to allow them to exploit you? Your denial of their emotions and experiences amounts to an admission that, "I do not believe your falsehoods, nor do I support your arguments." You are effectively communicating your inability to tolerate their deceit and your ability to discern their mischief. However, how do you da8? The next time you hear a narcissist speaking negatively about another person, give them an opportunity. Refute the narcissist's account and communicate that you will not tolerate their deceit. This effectively halts their progress, leaving them bewildered as you cease to participate in their game. 5. Disregard them and treat them poorly. What if you reciprocated the contempt they demonstrate towards you in return? What if you inverted the tables on them and made them feel insignificant? Narcissists can be effectively retaliated against by treating them with contempt and disdain. One can demonstrate resistance to being moved around by reciprocating their treatment of oneself. You will cease to be judged or criticized by them. However, how do you da8? First, prevent them from dominating the conversation. Do not permit their criticism to diminish your sense of self-worth. It is imperative to persist and advocate for oneself. Distinguish unequivocally that you will not tolerate their egocentric conduct and that they will not frighten you. 6. Discontinue your focus on them. What if you responded with laughter or an expression that read, "You cannot be serious"? Neglecting them may result in the erosion of their potency. Refraining from caving to their narcissistic tendencies deprives them of the desired attention and regard. You are demonstrating that their anecdotes and deceptions fail to captivate you. But exercise caution and observe the results of your actions. It is possible that they will lose it if they embellish and fabricate information. 7. Be completely truthful. Narcissists are highly skilled at manipulating others and have a severely lacking sense of self. But what if, despite the pain, you told them the truth? Could you consider providing them with the information they require, even if it contradicts their desires? Being ruthlessly candid with narcissists can serve as a potent method of uncovering their true nature. They might just lose it when you express the icy, harsh truth directly into their eyes. They dislike being told the truth, particularly when it contradicts their inflated self-esteem. Therefore, have the courage to express what others are unwilling to say. Observe as their minds explode in disbelief at the realization of their actions. 8. Pay no attention to them whatsoever. Narcissists derive positive self-perceptions from their fabricated sense of self. However, what if you had the ability to see through them? What if you discovered that they are truly feeble, ineffective, and without value? One can effectively undermine their influence by perceiving through them. It is game over for them when they realize that you can see through their deceit and recognize how fragile their illusory sense of self is. They are aware that you are aware, thus they cannot pretend that nothing is amiss. 9. Irrespective. Weakening them significantly can be accomplished by ignoring them. You are not providing nourishment for their ego by avoiding their attention. This can simultaneously deprive them to death and drive them insane. Despite the difficulty, the effort is worthwhile. Notwithstanding the potential intensity of the silence, perseverance is crucial. It is, without a doubt, preferable to dealing with their attempts to exert control over you. Consequently, disregard them and observe as their strength wanes. 10. Resigning and evacuating their presence. A complete and total detachment from them is the result of giving up and walking away. It signifies, "I couldn't care less, you're dead to me now." It signifies the absence of concentration, vitality, concern, or provision for narcissism. It means avoid all communication with them. Clearly, this is not a debate or a pastime. I'm well aware that this is simpler said than done. However, I assure you that it is feasible. Additionally, it is vital for your own well-being. I trust this film has imparted some knowledge to you. Please like it and share with me the most valuable insight you gained from it, if applicable. In addition, if you are a newcomer to my channel, please subscribe and click the icon to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos throughout the week. Access my complimentary course and additional benefits by clicking the link in the description below, should you be intrigued. It is essential to be aware of your value and the means to obtain freedom. I appreciate your attention and look forward to your presence